we have information on a trademark name for the Z8. Well, I think everybody knows it's a Z8 at this point. Nikon's leaking out information in their image, so all the speculation is coming to a head. I have to say I'm a bit bummed. I'm not going to do an intro and all that fancy stuff. I want to get some stuff out, so bear with me here. As I'm looking at this camera, I've been saying I want two cameras and one should be video focused. Everybody else has been doing it. Photographers say they don't want video in their camera. They can do without it. Something that they want, they won't buy it. Personally, I was hoping that Nikon would give us two. At this stage, we really don't know because the trademark name was out on May 2nd and we're just seeing it today. So it could be that they're staging things and I could still be correct in that we will get two of these cameras, a video focus and a photo focus. But in the last couple of days, I've been doing some edits and kind of checking up on what the Z9 has, because even though we talk about Z9 and the features it has and so on, me, I'm kind of more focused on the video side and what I can get from that. And some of the things that I thought about in looking at my video camera is like, full-size HDMI, because that's one thing that we don't have currently on the lower Z lines. The Z9 is the only camera that has full-size HDMI, and I would hate going to a smaller body that would shrink that. One of the things that I also talked about is having some kind of built-in audio. I don't think we would get that if they're only going to go without one body, because seeing how things are spaced on the Z9, that could kind of mean there is not enough space for it. The size, the thickness is slightly less thicker than the Z9. So, if they decided that they were going to try to put some kind of advanced audio in their mini XLR, and again, this is things we want, those of us who are on the video side, from Nikon, and say, hey, you kind of step it up there with a Canon R5C and, some of the other cameras that are out there that does video stuff. So we probably won't get that. Another thing that I saw that I thought about, thinking about the audio is the external audio device. Yeah, Tascam does one and it's pretty good. They made for Canon as well and Sony. So if you have one of these cameras that actually doesn't have one of these external XLR device, you can purchase something from a third-party brand. Sony makes their own as well. But Sony's a consumer electronics company, so they've had these things that they can build. And also they do professional cameras, so they have all that kind of lined up for them, and they're good from that perspective. If Nikon could have gone down that road, that would be a good thing. I bought the FX30 with the handle on it, so you can have the functionality built in. I would mind spending a bit more if Nikon comes out with something where you can get XLR adapted microphone system set up on there. So, again, we still don't know, but if they're going towards just that, hybrid style body, the likelihood is that we could probably see some kind of external audio device for that camera. And now that leads me also into what is the video, I shouldn't say video. Well, yes, video, the video codecs. If it's 8.3K, how long will that be? Enjoying the content? Love what you've seen so far? Find the information useful? Okay, wonderful. Now, next question. Are you subscribed? No? Oh, go on. Get subscribed. A lot of you watching are subscribed, but most of you are not. So while the channel is growing, I'd like to count on your support to help me to grow even more. So if you're coming back and watching the video, or if this is your first time, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. All right, not going to take up any more of your time. Let's get back to the video. Nobody mentioned if it's going to be internal or external. And let me say this, as I'm thinking about what the size of the body is going to be, it's the 850, and what the Z9 can do, how long it can record internally and so on, you start to have questions now. If we only get one body, what are the capabilities going to be? How much more reduced is it going to be than the Z9? Even if it doesn't come in a Z6, Z7 body, because, at this stage, we've crushed that. That's We've all said it's going to be too much. I've talked about my camera. This camera here does 8K, 24 frames per second. And if you do that for up to a minute in like country like in Thailand where it's get up to 100 degrees, it's not going to record for a long period of time. Not everybody's recording in the studio. Not everybody's going to have fancy cool things done. Sometimes you're just kind of out and about shooting things. That's what I'll be doing, taking down the street, take it out in the field, shooting with it. Granted, a lot of things you're seeing right now is me sitting inside talking, but I do travel videos, and when I do those, I want something I can handle the rigors. Part of that is why I considered the Z9. I'll talk about that in a little bit more, but let me finish with this Z8 thing here. So if the body is not going to be as big as a Z9, heat dissipation, that becomes a factor. How are they going to manage that in this body if it's going to have 8.3K on board? The thing that they didn't say is if it's going to be internal or external. So we still don't know that just yet. However, at this point, 8.3 RAW is not being able to be recorded to any current external recorders. Atomos doesn't make anything. Blackmagic doesn't have anything. One of the things that I mentioned in the patents that I saw is that it seems as though they could be making some kind of external recorder. That could be a possibility. We don't know. If they're going to the content creation types, if you have the money, you want to spend roughly $4,000 plus on the camera, then yeah, get an external monitor from Nikon for NRAW. That would be like an extra step for them to go. For those of us who are not in a full-fledged range and you want to say, hey, I'm going to use the 8K, that's another piece of device that you're going to have to pick up. I was going to make a video a couple of days ago, or was it yesterday, when I saw that Canon was coming out with two R5s. Again, that's a rumor, we don't know, and it kind of struck me as odd that they would say, let's have two R5 IIs. Maybe people just aren't happy with the way things are currently with Canon. I mean, Fuji and Panasonic have been doing some great things in the camera to keep it in a hybrid format. Sony has gone a different route by coming up with a whole different body, and that works for them. And I think, you can't leave out the photographer side of things. And if those guys saying, I want no fans, and you're going to put something out that has some decent amount of video, you have to give them something that they want. I personally believe over time that people will gravitate towards the video stuff. Because if you think about it, if you're a photographer and you want to show your work on YouTube or anything else, you're going to have to use some kind of video. Do you go out and you spend money to buy a camcorder, or do you get like another camera that can do that? And if you're happy with like a Z8, would you want two of them? There is these things that we think about. You can have two bodies, very similar. So when you go to the video side of the things, it's on a tripod. You're out in the field holding your camera, doing what you're doing and talking about it. So while right now people are saying they don't need it, there are a lot of photographers are seeing the benefits of having video and are utilizing their cameras for that purpose. So that is what got me excited about, more excited that Nikon would be coming out with two cameras. Again, at this juncture, we know nothing. Tomorrow is the launch date. We will know everything at that point, but it seems kind of odd that, Nikon would take a very different route. The Z9 being a flagship body, everything in one, yeah, that makes sense. But pretty much everybody else has been kind of breaking these things up just so that they can have a camera. It was more on the photo focus side and, dumb down the video side. And again, the video side have less photo focus abilities. Good example, this FX30 that I'm using. Sony doesn't actually have a match for it currently, but actually the FX3 probably a better one to look at because it matches up with A7S III. So you have a camera that's a hybrid camera that can shoot photos at good quality, good speed, but then it also does really well at videos. And in a sense, in my mind, it's basically the same camera going inside the FX3's body. There may be some things that they didn't do in a firmware update for the A7S III because they want to focus it more on that side for the video stuff. And let's just leave it where it is right now for the A7S III. We won't give it any more things to make it similar to that camera because there's going to be limitations when it comes to heat. 4K 60 is becoming popular right now. 6K is becoming more popular, and as people utilize these things, granted, we still know it's going to be going into a 4K timeline. But for those people who, are pushing the boundaries, so to speak, you want something that's a little bit better. So, Nikon, are you going to give us something along those lines, or is it stuck in one body? And if you're sticking in one body, this body better come out awesome. The Z9 was it. We're all saying that if you make a baby Z9 or mini Z9, some people be upset. The people with the Z9 who already have the Z9, it's like, well, if it's exactly the same thing, but in a smaller body, do I really want it? There's some people who say yes, there's some people who say no. Those of us who are looking for something more, we may be disappointed. We may be. We can't say for sure at this juncture, but there's that possibility. So, and as I look towards what's next from Nikon, Z7 III, Z6 III, we can talk about all those things because those are speculations at this point. Nobody really knows. But people are saying it would make more sense if Nikon did a Z6 III and make it their full-fledged video camera, because that would really go in line to those Fuji and Panasonic cameras that just been released, because they're not at the higher level. The only thing that really is a comparison is the Canon R5 and R5C. And I don't really consider the R5 when it comes to the video specs. Yes, it records 8K, but doesn't do the higher level at 60 frames per second. It can probably do 45 minutes and it'll overheat. The body's smaller. You saw my older videos when I compared it with the Z9 and what that looked like, and also the D850. So you can see the size comparison of those. So yeah, that's, they'll have to do something a little bit different to make it better in the future. New processors that generate less heat, managing the codecs better is definitely one way to go. But who knows what get in the future? We can't really say. So yeah, I don't know. In my mind, I'm a bit disappointed, but at the same time, I'm a bit excited, because if it does come and it's a killer 8K camera with video, that would be really good. Something that can record for a long period of time. People don't think that 8K is a thing. It is a big thing. You look at some of these videos that are in 4K, they're probably recorded in 8K. I've seen some 1080p videos that look awesome, and these people probably recorded in 6K and put it down to 1080p, because you can do that kind of stuff if you want to save space. If you want the full quality, it'll look even better. So guys, let me know in the comments. Those of you who are interested in video, do you think we're going to get something that's going to be really good out of this one body, or do you think there'll still be two bodies? Those of you doing photography, you're happy now? Is this the camera that you think it's going to be? I know some people are going to say we're still speculating. It is, but this juncture, so the day before. But as more information comes out, it gives us, something to kind of think about as far as what's next. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. I'll see you guys next time.